Hi, thank you very much for watching UX Bootcamp. In the past period of time, we have updated a lot of knowledge about AI and UX. And then many friends really like it. Thank you all. If you haven't subscribed yet, welcome back to our channel and subscribe. So, with everyone's support, actually there is a small problem. The thing is, we don't have our own website. So today, we hope to complete the design of our official website and domain name registration within the next hour. There are also a series of tasks such as the opening of space, all in this 1 hour. So in the next hour, you will see all the process of website production. However, we will use the latest cutting-edge technology to complete it. It was unthinkable in the past, because usually we need a large number of staff to cooperate. So what about now? We rely on one person. Moreover, it only takes 1 hour to complete the design of a website. Okay, let's start now. The most important thing for a website is its domain name. So this domain name is like a business card we use to access it. So the website we are visiting now is called GoDaddy.com. So people can also visit this website. What happened after the visit? We can enter any domain name we want here, and then go search. However, the bad news is that the internet has been developing in our human world for 30 or 40 years. So many good domain names have been registered already. What about domain names? It usually ends with a .com. Com is commercial. It means business. So what about the 3 Ws? World Wide Web. It's the World Wide Web, and then .com. This is one of the most common collocations. What else? In fact, we still have many domain names. For example, .net, domain names such as .ai, etc. But the most valuable, the most well-known one should be this .com. So, you see, if we enter any random 3 letters now, and then all the .coms were registered. If this letter gets longer, and then add some numbers. Therefore, it is easy to find the one that has not been registered. But generally speaking, meaningful. Wow, all the .com domains have been registered already. This is generally regarded as meaningless. So, what about us? You can choose your favorite domain name, and then we can also go and look for it. Look, like here. There are a lot of domain names. It's ending. However, the best one is still .com. It even has some trading value in it. If you can't read this website, it doesn't matter. At the bottom, we can switch to any country you are in and one of its currencies. Here is the money. Generally speaking, domain names are not particularly expensive anymore. Let's take the US dollar as an example now. Let me show you the price of it. In terms of US dollars, as for .com. Still, this one is relatively expensive. So generally speaking, it's this domain name. Will it be very expensive? General, for example, like this domain name, this 6-character domain name. And then it's only $50 a year. What about us? We have already registered a domain name. Where are we now? Yes, it is possible here. Domain name that we have purchased. This is the domain name backend of GoDaddy, because we have just paid. So let's take a look directly at how to modify it. This is our domain name, and then there are some other operations here. None of this matters to us. Clicking on DNS is its domain name. And then here, there is a Manage DNS option. DNS is the most important setting for a domain. Here, we can bind it to any website we want. So here, what's going to happen next is very important. The name and 2A records. This type, these 3 are the most important. So we are actually bound to Framer now. So now we're looking for Framer again. We have created a new project in the framework. So the name of this project is UX Bootcamp. And then here we need to bind our domain name. Let's click on the gear. And then here, you can enter a title for it, the title of the website and a description of it. Here I have already entered it. And then here we choose domain. That's one of its domain names. What about here? We have 2 options. The first is to bind a free Freemark domain name. The second is to bind our own domain name. Because we just bought this domain name. What about our domain name? Reveals? They're not very expensive. It's cheaper. So what we choose here? Then just enter our domain name. Okay, we've bound our domain name. And it goes inside Daddy. It has been entered according to FreeMarker's instructions, this name and the record of 2 A's. In this case, it will take effect within half an hour. So what we can do now is add an sound in this website. Block. Let's see if it can change in real time. For example, I have now added a red square, or a blue square. Then click Publish. If you refresh the page again, you can see that our website has been changed in real time. So now we can simply write a copy in words. Okay, we have written a text and then center it, and now release it again. We can see it again by refreshing this website. It has been updated in real time. Okay, so we already have a space that can be updated at any time. Now we need to do some design. We open Figma and then press the F key. You can draw a canvas. What about the size of this canvas? We can change it to 1600 multiplied by 900. This is the canvas that I think is more comfortable. On this canvas, we are now going to do some design for our UX Bootcamp. Let's draw another small square now. Put it up so that everyone can see clearly. Let me make a correction. Easily distinguishable color. Okay, then let's name it. Also name the entire project. And then here, we can call this General 1 Home. So, the overall frame is called Home, and what about its height? Let's make it smaller. And then we can now click on this preview. We can now see what this website looks like in real time in our Figma. Here it is. Let me show you this again. Turn off Figma UI. Basically, that's it. Not bad, right? So what we need now is a logo. Let's type a line of text and then give it something of a title nature. It would be great to use it as our logo. Let's establish some rules for now. Here is a Pages folder. So the first one now, we can change our name to UI. Build another one. We can change our name to Guidance. In the Guidance, we make some rules. For example, we might need some color. What colors are there? For example, we will need color. And then there will be some other gray colors. For example, there are currently 6 of them. 9. Let's align these 10. And then copy it. Next, press 987,654,321 on the keyboard. We obtain 10 different grays derived from transparency. Please press this rectangle again. Use our shortcut key I to take a hit. If not smoking, in fact they are just several shades of gray with different transparency. And then you can delete the bottom part. Now it is a solid color with 100% transparency. And then we add a white, a pure white. At this time, we can give it this color. In addition, we also need to indicate the color of a button. Because the overall feeling of our US Bootcamp is a green one. So we use this color, which is green. Then we can also classify it into different grades. For example, we now have a black one. We can simply convert it to we have simply created two different levels. Okay, so we have completed one set. Nice color combination, isn't it? We can also turn it into 85 multiplied by 85. Okay. This is the color I need right now. And then we click on these colors here. And then add it to become an style or variable. So what about here? Sure, you can choose style or variable. However, variable is more convenient. So we'll choose from here, for example, this one. We are called V001. Okay, let's click on this local variables now. And you can see our 10 shades of gray. Okay, let's go back to our Bootcamp. And so now our writing. We can then bind our colors. For example, as a whole, we can give it a background color. It could be a little grayish. And then this strip, can you give it a bright one? A white? Well, with this color, we can also add another front. Inside front, let's do some of its font. For example, we can make a or here we use a content. Generally speaking, we may not need too many fonts when building a website. And then because header 1 has already been used here, it is just one of our 24. So for our 24, then we can choose, for example, 22. And then here, we can change it to the same thickness. And then we can choose 20. Finally, it can be modified according to our actual design here. Regarding the content of the website, we have chosen the 16th. And then here, choose 14 and 12. What about them? We will all use a regular. And then I thought we might have some buttons here, so we'll move them around a little bit. Now our font is ready. And then let's name it. Name it here. I don't really like direct recording, because if it's recorded, there won't be as many immediate reactions for everyone. You won't see my process. In this way, everyone can easily see my process. Okay, we have some standards for text and color. And then we also need to have a shadow. On this website, we can design 4 different shadows. I plan to use this shadow maker to create the shadows. This has actually been introduced in our previous videos. We can give it a larger shadow. And then it can be adjusted to look better. And then we can have a less shadow. It's just a little different from what was just said. 好，这个在我们后面的实际的设计中呢，还可以继续修改。好，我们有4个很漂亮的阴影，把这个阴影呢，我们也可以做成一个组件，点这个加号。Okay, we are now All colors and text are standardized. We put the whole thing that hasn't been used yet. Change it in the specification. It looks more comfortable that way. That's it. All the things in these 3 pages use our components. So we can also add the outer components from now on. Then some friends may ask, then what is your purpose in doing this? Why do you want it? Is to bind it all like this. What about fixing things? Because now, for example, I now use a text. Then we put this word, insert a header, one by one, in this specification. So what if I already have a lot of text? Then if I need to modify it, if there is no such specification, I may have to select hundreds or thousands of design text. But if we have norms, click this to add, edit style, and here it is. Let's change it at random. The whole thing will change. That includes our color just now. It's all the colors, including our shadows. There are certain norms. If you need to modify it at this time, we just change the rules. The overall design will change with us. This is a very, very convenient practice. So now we've made a navigation bar. And what about this one? Is there a banner on it? It's one of our current designs. And then what? What's the content? Maybe there will be a sidebar when it comes to it. There will be a sidebar here. Here is another small knowledge point. So I'm going to draw an area, give it a gray one, and then there will be a main blue on this side. The main blue is filled, a state of filling up. So you can see it clearly. But what about my design? The width here may be adjusted, because there is actually no fixed value for the width here. Well, what about here? Have to adjust. It's very troublesome, so I want to do it in a very smart way. What's that? That's right, it's one of our auto layouts. What about after adding the auto layout? Our adjustment will be very convenient. We can compare it. Is this the version without auto layout? For example, when there is no auto layout, we might have such a space. Then when adjusting, you need to manually adjust it every time, right? And this is very complicated. What about after we have auto layout? No matter how you move up, it won't be messed up. How do you make it? What about us first? Fill it up first. I'm going to give it a more complicated design now. Yes, place the entire layout using the auto layout feature with the top and bottom parts aligned. This is number 2, and then add an auto layout below it. What about this auto layout? We set the sidebar here to a fixed position. Vice, here we set it to a few container. Overall, we will also design a few containers for it. Also design the above into a few containers. The advantage of this is that when we change our size, it won't be too messy, huh? We now put a few containers in this place, and this is the fix. And then when we got bigger, hey, there's a problem with this, right? What's the problem? Here, haha. Take a look now. Hey, isn't it perfect? You see, it will reposition the width of one of our pages every time. And this one, what about this template? They won't follow us around at will. So this is definitely a better version, because when we adjust the design draft later, it may change some sizes at will. Isn't it perfect? Now it's a perfect state. For example, the sidebar is too wide. If you are here, you will take the initiative to let it come. Because what are our attributes here? Yeah, these few containers are full. Is it fixed here? So when fixation changes, it will always fill the entire width. I hope I made myself clear. What if I didn't make it clear? Please put it in the bullet comment. Or ask me in our comments. Then this is a bad version. Shall we delete it? This is a good version. And then here we are. Can we rename it? The whole thing here is called a container. And then here we call it left. Here we call it right. Okay, it's in here. Let's draw another square. Just draw a normal square first. And what do you do? What do you do? This filling is not very nice. It doesn't matter. We can modify it later. And then here we can write a you can write a bigger word. Then let's find a more suitable font size first. Just this size is fine. Then it doesn't, this is not in our specification. It doesn't matter. We can do it again. Add a header here. For example, my name is header 0. Okay, we can change the order here. Head 0. Then, hey, align it. Then we can have a small print. You can use 12 for small print. Or a 14 to illustrate. So we just wrote a random line and center it. Does this look good? Okay, then we might need a button. What about this button? We also want it to be very flexible to control. We made a frame like this. And what about inside? Fill in a word. What about this word? We can use this button we made before. Come in design. You center it, and then center the top and bottom. About this big. We can come to the actual page to feel it. Is this an actual approximate size? It's a bit big. We can make it smaller. Here you can write a value in detail. And then we can color it. For example, here we use the green one we just talked about. And what about this background? Let's change it to 1 first. A gray bar. Okay, that's about it. Here we add an auto layout. So when we have more words, this button will also follow. That would be perfect. It's very similar to the final effect of our technology. Let's make the sidebar smaller here. It's too big, it takes up space. Well, it seems to be about the same. Here, just change the alignment method to center. And then we need a headline. What about this title? That's about this high. You give an absolute value. This value is preferably a multiple of 10 or a multiple of 8 is better. And we can, blow up a text here. Yes, you can call, for example, call AI tutorials, and it's below. I'm going to put a cover of a specific tutorial. What about our cover? There are several components. The first is a framework for it, and inside is one of its covers, one of its pictures. We don't have any pictures now. Just put a gray box first. I'll add it later. And down below, we are usually a text. For example, what might be the name of a tutorial here? Then it might have some instructions. The instructions are of course smaller. Otherwise, how do you know it's a description? And here, we can add some dust to it. Okay, it looks good. Then here, we can come to a label. Well, the label is not very obvious. So we can add a small box like this to it. Put it in. Then what about its color? For example, change it to a heavy green. Then add a stroke. And then add a little rounded corner to it. In fact, all of our tutorials are free. Well, if you're interested, the thing we most hope you can do for us is to take a look. Okay, that's what makes it meaningful. Okay, it's ready now. We'll just take it a little bit. It's too long. Can you make it shorter? Okay, that's about it. So let's take this component. There's a problem here. We align it left and right, so then it can change back and forth with us. We made it into a component, and then copy it. Here it is. Copy here. And then we might have several of these. Original part, right? And then we can make a frame for it. And then add an auto layout. What about the margin between them? We hope it's a little narrower. Okay. And then, at present, this right is not an auto layout. Let's also add auto layout to it. And then over here, the starting position is on our left. As you can see, there are now 3 elements, arrangement of 3 elements. We change the third element to a view container. Then give it a turn. What if the width is not enough? It will automatically be reduced. So it's more, it feels more like a website that we actually use. Oh, we might have. Yeah, we might have. The following ones. Okay, let's take a look now. Well, it will change according to our size. Not bad, huh? Fortunately, here, I made it into a component and released it. Put it here. And then put a copy of it in. What I hope for it is that it can have a color change. So I made a copy, turn into components, make the 2 of them into a variant. And then this one down here, make it a deeper green. Click on the prototype, then drag an arrow to it. So here we choose, while hovering, that's when the mouse moves over it. Turn into this. Let's take a look at the actual effect. Wow, it's so dark. Yes, there are some. The color may have been a bit too much before. How about this? It seems that the basic construction of our website is almost done. Let's modify some details below. For example, could their left and right sides be larger? In this way, the distance between them is not so crowded. And then, can we add a shadow? Because we have just made several levels of shading. We can use a minimum of shading. And then this background, the background is still too dark. The background can be further blurred. No worries, take your time. Let's remove this background, and then on this large background, add a little bit of gray. And then here, we can have a certain gradient or image. Actually, either one is fine. Then give it a rounded corner design. We make a round corner here. Okay. So when each element is swiped, I also hope it can have a little change. So here we do the same operation. Just make a copy of it. Then put it under to make a component. And then select both of them and make them into a variant. Variant can put one of its variables. And then here we choose, this is the hovering. And after everyone selects it, we need to detach one of them here. Then ungroup it. This way, we can ensure that the 2 layers are equivalent, because I just added an extra layer. Now the 2 layers are consistent. And then make the shading a little darker. Now you can see that when the mouse moves over it, there is a change, right? Hey, there's a change. Hey, it's good that there are some changes. And then give it a rounded corner. This is a rather popular design. When it passes through, this rounded corner will become very large. So, just a little bit when it's not crossed. It can't be none at all. Well, this is quite interesting, isn't it? Then we add a hyphen before all tutorial. Because what I'm demonstrating to you now is actually a relatively basic design process. In fact, it will take a lot of time to optimize this website. We made it into one too, a component. And then it may be title. If you don't quite understand some of my current please let me know. You can watch some of our previous videos. I have actually introduced some operations of this Figma before. Well, isn't it great now? Hahaha, it seems to be okay now. Yes, there seems to be a small problem here. There are some problems here. Well, actually, we can do this. It can also be solved in Fria. Okay, then what I still need to do here is to create a navigation. A categorized navigation. Let's change the color of this, so it's more obvious this way. Okay, now about the same. Similarly, we can duplicate it and detach it to create a component, and then change the background a little bit. The color of the text can also be changed. Make the two of them into a variant, and then make a prototype. And here, the method is repeated once again. And then press the Option key. Drag it out by pressing the Option key. You can then copy the content inside it. Okay, then let's put it in. After putting it in, its width and height are still acceptable. Add an auto layout. So here we change the initial value to this. Height. Give it a height of 24 so it doesn't block our shadow. Well, in that case, this directory is ready. Oh, is it not bad? Yeah, it's okay. Well, initially I think we can do without this background color. In this way, it becomes a little bit clearer, right? And then when we change this content, suppose we only have these three categories. Now this page is basically, generally speaking, it's okay. Basically the framework, just to explain that, here we go. Below, we can restore our design in the frame. So how do we do that? First of all, we can select the entire page. In the meantime, we can put these components that we have made into us. In the specification, this is a standardized production process. Okay, rename it here. So now we have these norms, and at the same time, we also have a small web page. The speed of this production is still good. Then we are in our plugins. So FreeMaker, we'll see it. We click it. Okay, it's all copied. We can fill it in the frame. Paste after pasting. Let's adjust the width. Then see if there is any problem with the whole layer. The layers are basically fine. Can you lift it? then add a layout to it. Layout is auto layout. Then change its width to 0. And now we can play the page. And then what happens when it compresses? When it slides, some effects are lost. So we might have to do it all over again here. But its whole, this altered the out properties are still there. Then solve it. Not really that much of a problem. Let's comb it. Well, first, when we zoomed in and out, it didn't change. And what about it? Lost the way we designed it before, haha. It turns around, bend, right? Let's see what's going on with it. What about here? What we designed is, well, since it was imported from Figma, so it's not updated. Let's just click here and click on the web. Now, put it on this banner again. Change it to 1. Few contents. Oh, not a few contents. Just change it to a few. Now let's see how it works. Well, now it's basically an effect we want, right? When it's content. Well, as its width changes, its content will follow our width. But here it's Eden. What's going on here? Let's take a look. Solve it. Maybe some properties. Because Figma and Framer are still the same as the whole. The logic of its design is still different. Let's change this height to few contents. That is, it is equivalent to the hug component. Hug content in Figma, right? What about the whole thing? Is there a width? Can we change it to 1? Few? In that case, let's see what happens. That's about it. There is also a container that wraps it on the outermost side. Let's see if it's its problem. Now it's nested inside the... No problem. What about this nested one? Also change it to a few. And this one. This is no problem. The outermost one can be changed to a hard content now when we change its... When it comes to height and width, there should be no problem. Okay, how about now? We still have some questions to study it. Post it first. Let's take a look at the actual effect. So this is the initial website that we launched. A website is built so quickly. Are you excited? Still, we can zoom it out a bit. Check the effect. It's still not completely full. So there's a problem. Let's go back here. Check it out. What's the problem? Yeah, sometimes. This bug is very common. Okay. See if this is the problem. Hey, this is the problem. Haha, found this problem. How do you solve it? Because I didn't choose this hug content just now. That's it. It's not called hug content. So it's not growing with the content. What about now? Because its position is misplaced. So here we are. Give it. Modify it again. There are shadows. Cut it off. Can you modify it here too? Do we have an option called overflow? Just choose visible for it. Now let's see if this page is perfect. Hope it's perfect. Hey, it's still not perfect. Post it, take a look. Is it posted? This is a full screen effect. When it folds so, there are still some problems. It doesn't matter. If there is a problem, we will think about what to do. It's okay here. Did you change it just now and the height has not changed since then? Here. It wasn't set up here just now. Because we have a lot of this nesting. It's perfect now. We need to change each height to 1. It's about following the content. In this case, our positioning is real time. You see, now we are one screen. What about when we zoom out? Hey, it's become this bottle and a half, right? It can be repositioned according to one of our layouts. This is what we want. But this screen is not full. In fact, there is a way to fix this. But I decided to save this for next time and share it with you. What should we do? How do you make it? Okay, what about now? Can we center it? Now look at that list again. It's a centered effect. Well, that's not bad. So what's next? Let's do the color. What about the color? At present, we have some colors in Figma. But in the frame, the color is not defined. Can we create that? For example, is this black? Did we do 10 colors just now? Right. We can also find these 11 colors in this figure code. Then retie it into the frame for everyone. Okay, and then let's get back to our project. And after you return to the project in this style, as you can see, actually we have a lot of styles. There is a color style here. Let's give it a color. What's the name of this color? Let's just go with the names in Figma. Because my project might be a long-term one. Black diagonal line B001. What do you mean? Why is it a long-term project? Because if it is short-term, there is no need for us to do design specifications. Because we hope to make it a long-term thing. Therefore, for the convenience of later maintenance, let's put some effort into this. Capture all of these colors. And then we can see if it's in the first color. It has a dark mode. We hope to introduce to you how to use this model this time. So let's give it a try. In the first black one, my padding is black. Here on the moon, it's dark mode. It's just white. So who should be the second one's dark mode? The second one should be the second lightest color. It will completely reverse the color we just had. Okay, we have finished the swap. Now we can add some colors to it. For example, in our navigation bar here, its background color is white. And then our text is 11 black colors. In this navigation, our colors are also 11. Oops, we got it completely reversed. The filling should be 11 white colors. Ha. So here it should be 1. I got confused by it. So this is a design for a dark mode. Here we change it to black. So the whole background is white, so we chose 11. The number 11 is white in color. And what color is this one? We didn't choose before. So let's give it a color. Give it a 10. And then we change the color of this one to 1. and then change this black to 1. This can be changed to 3. Let's change this color to black. And then change this to black. Let's change this to a gray color. Okay, now let's take a look at what would happen if we release the dark mode of this website. Oh, it has a small problem. We didn't notice the entire background of this just now. We need to modify it. The background is currently designed in white. Let's change it to 11. Let's take a look now. Basically, it's just a negative treatment. Isn't it not bad? This is a small control for the dark mode of a website. We still haven't handled it particularly perfectly. However, it doesn't matter. We can gradually improve it. Okay, let's post it again. Okay, so it's a website that can be adapted. And then I made a dark mode for him. This is all we need to consider in our future design. You can continue to optimize it. I think we should not give this background to 11 because it is still a little different. Let's swap. Oh, okay. In that case, we can continue according to our Figma. Alright, let's get started on the design of our website.